Hey everybody, it's Carlos369 Pro. Today we're going to be talking about Pitch Black. We're going to be talking about Pokemon Mega Evolution era Pitch Black Series 5 of the Mega Evolution block. Now, I think today we have to talk about not necessarily the implications, but the understanding of your own portfolio in Pokemon TCG, right? Because as an investor, or if you invest in Pokemon, you have to know these market cycles and you have to know what is going on in the Pokemon hobby, right? Because without that information, you're going to fall into mistakes that will ultimately affect your gains. And is if you're an investor, if you're someone who's watching this video and really wants to make money in the Pokemon hobby space or preserve their money in the hobby space, you have to follow a bunch of things because they're very vital for you. Okay. If you're a collector, if you're someone who plays a TCG, or someone you just collect, you don't really care about the values, that is okay because that is something that's that's like, how you feel and how you want to interact in the hobby. But for somebody that is super money conscious focused, right? If you spend $15 on a card and you're stressing about it, this hobby may not be for you, because or it may have to be in a different aspect of the hobby, okay? Because we can all enjoy the hobby in our own specific ways, and everybody's different. Some people like certain cards, some people like different cards. Now, we're going to talk about how to invest in some Pokemon cards, or even not even invest. We're going to talk about what it means to invest in Pokemon cards. First things off is do not buy into the set when it first releases, because as you can see here, we're looking at these. This is the most current set, guys, and look at this price: $350 all the way down to 178, 175 a card for Mega Darkrai Pitch Black. That is a tremendous drop. That is literally almost half your money gone, evaporated into existence without liquidity. And we have to think about this too. You have to sell these cards, guys. I don't know if you guys know, but selling your singles online takes a fee, and selling them in person is really difficult in a way that, not necessarily difficult, but you don't get your full value. So instead of getting 170, you might get 150. Someone may pay you 175. Someone may be generous and pay you 80%. That's $140, guys. So, that's something that you have to take in consideration. You also have to take in consideration the centering, the quality control of the card. If it's off-centered, if it's has some dings, if it has some whitening in the corners, that limits your potential sell to individuals, unless you're selling to collectors or someone that just wants to play the trading card game. And that thin pool can dry up quickly, because once someone buys their card, they buy it. If someone wants a card and they buy it, that's all they have to do is just buy it one time. But if someone wants to grade, keep it in their collection, minty, you're gonna have specific buyers rather than the whole target pool. And this is the whole target pool. On TCG Player, eBay is the entire target pool, but in person, to save yourself fees, you're going to have to take a loss out of those things. Now, looking at this set, guys, you have to see that when these sets come out, these sets are hyped. So you can see here, this card was selling for like 30, 40 bucks. Now it's at $10. This dropped 67%, you know? So that's insane, you know what I'm saying? But this card looks pretty cool, looks pretty good. There's different artworks. I like the Mega Chandelure because it's, Mega Chandelure. But it dropped from 110 all the way to 50, 40 bucks, 45 bucks, $50 for this card. Half the price. So it's very dangerous to buy these cards unless you are wanting them for your collection, unless you really want them, and collectors don't care about the price. Because at the end of the day, 10 years from now they'll be a little bit higher or something like that. Or you have to grade them yourself. This card would be really cool to grade yourself, but you have to find a really nice card for that. And this has been pretty crazy. Or if you want to preserve your money even more, is you have to buy the booster box. But right now, guys, these boxes have crashed. These boxes were really at these price points. Now they've crashed. It just depends on how you want to enter the Pokemon space. Now, I want to talk about other sets and really seeing what's going on in these markets, right? These past couple sets, for me, Pokemon, I don't know. I haven't been too, focused in Pokemon. There's nothing new for me to kind of explore, right? Except the 30th anniversary or something like that, Delta Rain. But those things come out within due time, and you have to find opportunities in the market, right? Where you can see that money, where you can probably make some money. If we go to Journey Together and we go to the booster boxes, or if we go to the uh, the Pokemon cards themselves, we can see some not necessarily undervalued, maybe undervalued, maybe these are undervalued. You have to think and have to look into these cards yourself to see what is the best opportunity long term and take action, guys. Again, it's really hard to navigate and not navigate, but let me break it down to you guys in the most simplest form that I can explain it, guys. Is Pokemon has three avenues, okay? Three avenues of let's say profit making, profit maxing. First is the sealed product, okay? If you have sealed product, you invest in the sealed product long term. Holding long term, these sealed products will go up within time, and when it goes out of print, out of rotation, the price explodes exponentially, not exponentially, but it goes up, it climbs. The next thing is the graded cards. Grading, or grading yourself, investing in the grading aspect of a card, finding those raw cards to grade into a PSA 10, or whichever. PSA 10 because it's the most liquid and the most valuable. You could say Tag and these other ones, but I don't know much about those, or Beckett. But that's up to you. Once you get into the higher understanding of that concept of grading, then you can venture out into those companies for the black labels and all that stuff. But grading to grade for a 10 to make those profit margins are good. The next thing is the singles. Now, this is really interesting because singles are really hard because these singles crash in price because, the demand and stuff. So it's really hard for me to even kind of explain something for you guys. It just really is difficult. It's really interesting. We can look at this Marshadow, guys. This Marshadow, guys, was pumped to the moon. It was a $55 card. Now it was at $12. Could this card go up? We don't know. We all speculate, right? The sealed product is going to hold its value. Now, I guess the interesting thing now is to look at, if we look at, let's say, Astral Radiance, the booster box. Astral Radiance booster box, it has gone up because it's gone out of print. It's gone up, it's climbed up. That's why you got to buy into those booster boxes. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But this is going to be the end of the video. Can't really describe too much because at the end of the day, it's just so hard to kind of think, right? There's not really much to talk about unless we want to talk about Delta Rain, which, you know what? If you guys made it to this video, we're going to talk about Delta Rain, guys. And we're going to talk about Delta Rain because why not? Let's just talk about Delta Rain because we don't have anything else to talk about. So, if you made this far, Delta Rain is Storm Emeralda. The booster box is going for $189, $189. I do think this is a very expensive box to invest in for the short term, but it's really hard to decide. It's really, with the Pokemon space being so informed and so, caught up with the prices, there's going to be it's really hard to find those market inefficiencies to capitalize on. So this could be another Phantasmal Flames situation where the box goes even higher out the gate or even stays at that consistent price because of the chase card, right? Let's compare Phantasmal Flames, which is Inferno X, and let's look at the booster box. The booster box is probably still around those mid $100. Obviously, it's gone down, it's had lows and highs, but that box still maintains its price point just because of the scarcity fact, okay? For now. Now let's look at these single cards. Now, as you can see here, this is a crazy lineup, but what I see here is that a lot of this isn't being carried, right? A lot of these things are just being carried by one specific card, which is this Mega Rayquaza. And don't get me wrong, the Mega Rayquaza looks pretty good. And, people might be buying this. I think people have bought this already for. Last sale was on the 2nd for $829. If we go on eBay, there's going to be more sales, but like I said, people are going to be pulling this card. People are going to be grading this card. People are grading this card right now. This really looks cool though too. The IR, the full art. This looks the super rare. It looks super good too. But like I said, it's probably gonna be a Phantasmal Flames where this one card carries the entire set. Raikou EX. This looks pretty cool as well. Has that old artwork. That artwork from Let's see this artist. Let's see what he makes. He has a couple cards that he's made. He hasn't made too many Pokemon cards actually. He's made a couple, but hasn't made lots of Pokemon cards. So this is the first time he's ever I guess art drawing, but it has that throwback. I think this looks like a famous painting, but I don't know. I could be wrong. So my thoughts on this: I want to get the booster box at MSRP from my local GameStop. I have to camp out, and I'll buy it, but hopefully we can do that. But like I said, like and subscribe to this video. Comment down below your next thoughts, and see you guys in the next one. Peace out.